Well, hi there, food friends. It is Kevin, and welcome to Cavalcade of Food. And today, sort of in keeping with some of the recipes I've been doing most recently, my focus is on side dishes. We've got the holidays coming up, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. A lot of us will be entertaining, having great meals with family and friends, and sometimes we focus a lot on the main course, and that's great. But to me, what really rounds out the meal and makes it extra interesting are the side dishes. A lot of people make a turkey. There's not a whole lot to reveal about that. But when you have some really interesting and fun side dishes, that really scores points. It does with me anyways. So we've been doing side dishes, and today we're going to do carrots. Because, one, I love carrots. Carrots are such a great vegetable to do. There's so many things you can do with carrots. They're packed with nutrition, so I mean that sometimes we counteract the nutrition. We might do that a little bit today by adding all kinds of other stuff. But carrots are a root vegetable, and they are really versatile. So we're going to do an orange glazed carrot. This recipe is sort of a variation on a Jewish dish often served at Passover, called tzimmes. And it is usually made with carrots. It's sort of something sweet on the table, a sweet. Sometimes it's done with other vegetables, but often tzimmes is done with carrots. And so we're going to be sort of making this in our own way, but it is similar in that it's a carrot that has a sweet glaze to it, and carrots on them, their own, can be on the sweet side, particularly if they're roasted, because it brings out sort of the natural sugars. But we're going to cook this on the stovetop. Another reason I like this recipe, because often the real estate inside of our ovens is at a prime when you're doing a big dinner, because you've got the main course in there and maybe a couple other things, and you know it's a juggling act. So the more things that you can make on the stovetop, to me, the better. Or even make ahead, an extra point for that. So we're going to make our orange glazed carrots. Nothing to it but to do it. Okay, first thing we want to do is get our glaze together. So we're going to use a large bowl here, and we're going to start with 3/4 of a cup of orange juice. Okay, and then we're going to also put in 3/4 of a cup of just water. Then I want to put in a tablespoon of honey. Now I'm just going to eyeball this here for a tablespoon. By the way, if you have a local honey farm, as we're fortunate to have in Croswell, that's where you want to buy your honey. Support your local beekeepers, please, and eat local honey. It's good for you, okay? All right, we're going to put in a tablespoon of brown sugar. I'm just using a light brown sugar here. Then what I've got is, maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon of black, freshly ground pepper, some kosher salt there, maybe 1/4 to 1/2 of a teaspoon, and 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Cinnamon's another flavor that goes great with carrots. We are going to whisk this up together, okay? Just really what we want to do is make sure that that sugar and honey are dissolved here. perfect. Okay, good enough. All right, now I've already done some pre-chopping. Here's our carrots. This is 1.25 pounds of carrots, and I'm chopping them into what we call coins. Okay, go 1/4 inch thick, give or take a little bit. You want to try to slice these all fairly similarly so that they kind of cook at the same time. You know, carrots they're hard. They're a root vegetable. And we're going to cook these in a pan, so we want to do them so that they're thin enough to cook easily. You'll see some of them are sort of a half round or a crescent, and they're like that because I had one carrot. You know these I call them horse carrots. They're like, you'd feed them to horses. They're giant. Anyways, when they're that big, just so that they're kind of, to help, again, with uniform cooking, I'll cut the thickest part of the carrot this way in half and then slice, and that gives me those half rounds. But that's what I've got here. You could use a mandolin if you wanted really to make sure they were uniform. And I'm only demonstrating this because I get questions. You know, I assume everybody knows how to cut a carrot. These are peeled, by the way. I did peel them. And so this is the stem end, or the root end here at the point, and this is the stem end, this side. So what I do is I cut off the very tip, and then I'm just going to go again with my knife. I'm eyeballing here, and again, about 1/4 inch or so. They're not all going to be identical, but I'm doing the best I can. This carrot is not so thick that I need to slice the wide stem end in half. I won't do that. Okay, and then this we don't need, and we'll put this in our bowl with our carrots. Okay, now the other thing I'm putting in here are some dates. Right there. So again, we've got honey, we got a little brown sugar, and we're going to put some dates in. Again, this is going to be sort of a little sweet on our carrot here. So I've got 6 dates. These are pitted dates, which is what you want. If you have dates with the pit in them, just remove the pit. Because dates are a little fragile, I cut them lengthwise into sort of a matchstick, like so. Because I find if I cut them crosswise like this, they crush, they smash, because they don't really have a lot of structure. Okay? All right. We've got our carrots, our date, our glaze. Let's get cooking. Okay, I'm just waiting for some butter to melt here. I put in about 4 tablespoons of butter. That's half a stick into a large skillet here. And we've melted that. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to add our carrots in here. And we're going to add our dates in here. All right, and I want to toss these around because I want them all coated in the butter. And I'm going to increase the heat here. I melted the butter over medium. I'm bringing it up to medium high. Cooking on the 1955, or is it a 56, Kelvinator range here. But I really want that butter on these carrots here. And they're gonna cook in this pan. You know, I just love Thanksgiving, and I'm going to probably get some flack on this, but I dare say I almost like Thanksgiving as much as Christmas for totally different reasons. You know, Thanksgiving is just about sharing a wonderful meal and being together, family and friends, and reflecting on the good things. You know, life is a mix of good and not good. We have to sometimes remind ourselves of the good. And there's no gifts, there's no pressure of anything, just being together, and I love that. Okay, now that it's kind of sizzling here, the dates and the carrots in the butter, we're going to add our liquid. And we want two things to happen. We want the carrots to cook, and we're going to bring this up to a boil, but we also want this mixture here to reduce and thicken. And so we need enough of it to cover and cook the carrots, but we're not covering the pan, we're going to let this evaporate. It's going to smell really great, and then it will reduce, and we'll have our carrots cooked in the glaze. Okay. Look, I'm going to turn this down. It has been, 15, maybe 17 minutes, and it has been boiling away. Look how that liquid has reduced, and look at that beautiful, thick, and delicious. You can see how it sticks to the bottom or the, pan here. That wonderful glaze that we made for our carrots. Now, folks, if that's not delicious, I don't know what is. You also do want to check to make sure, however, that our carrots are cooked, that, you can put a fork through it. It's hot. It's got the slightest crunch. To me, absolutely right on where I want it. So, all right, let's get this in a serving dish and finish it off. Our orange glazed carrots. We've got our carrots. They're warm or hot, really. I'm going to put them into a serving dish. And this is, because people will ask, this is Iroquois. I believe the pattern is called Impromptu here. Did I just put the carrots in? Now, I would say this too. You know what? When you're having company serving, if you have nice dishes, use them. Use them. If you don't, fine. Not everybody does. But if you have them, this is the time, okay? Get them out, wash them, put them on the table, let people use them and enjoy them. Now, we're going to finish this with a couple things. One, it's beautiful with a sprinkling of a little fresh parsley. Now, isn't that pretty? And then, I like to use, I call this finishing salt. Some people call it flaked salt. Take a look here. Do you see that? Can you see the texture of it? It is flaked. And I love it with this because it's a sweet dish. Not a lot. We don't have to put a lot here. But it's nice with the sweet to have a little bit of that coarse salt. If you didn't have flake salt, but you had like a coarse kosher salt, by all means, top it with a little of that. All right, Let's taste. So, now we've come to the tasting time here, and we're going to put some in a dish. Again, you could very easily double this. This is probably, well, the way my gang eats, it's probably 6 servings. A normal family, it might be 8. But you could easily, again, double this. I used 1.25 pounds carrots. Could use 2.5 pounds easily. Oh, that's so good. You know what really pops? When you get a little piece of that date. That is a little sweet surprise. But you definitely get the orange. A hint of the cinnamon. And, you know, the sweetness, the honey, the brown sugar. It's not sickening sweet, okay? It's not, it really is beautifully balanced, especially, I think, with the salt that we put on top. You know, again, we could just serve carrots, period. Nothing wrong with that, but why not jazz it up? Why not make carrots, elevate them to a level that I think vegetables deserve to be at? And just delicious. So, thank you for watching. I'll remind you the recipe for this dish is in the description below the video. If you ever want to go to my website, and maybe you do because it's a great way to check out some other things like my second YouTube channel, Always Analog, and you can connect to tuning in on Saturday mornings for my radio program, the Cavalcade Radio Hour. If that interests you, the address is cavalcadefood.com. You can go right on over there. And I hope everybody, I'm not sure when this video will go up, but, you know, I hope all of you are embracing our upcoming holiday season. And I wish you all a beautiful and blessed Thanksgiving. And again, whether you're going somewhere or you're hosting, just enjoy the time with family and friends and people who are important to you, and celebrate the opportunity of being together and sharing a meal. That's the main thing. And please subscribe if you haven't already. We're really working on our subscriptions here at Cavalcade of Food, and that is much appreciated. Like the video if you like it. And stay well, everyone, and we'll see you again back here real soon on Cavalcade of Food. Bye, everybody.